Yes.
My name is CZECH, and I would like to welcome Mr. Martin Klamt, researcher from Germany, and we'll talk a little bit about what he's covering as a topic for today's conference on the extremism in politics in Czech Republic or in Europe. Well, first of all, I would like to start, what actually is extremism? How do you see it? When does it represent a danger?
It's not that easy to answer to that, but from my point of view, extremism is more than just a position which is maybe not regular. Of course, the democratic scope includes a lot of different positions which are not only in the center of what we call democracy. There have to be positions which are maybe on a right-wing or left-wing position, and so this does not necessarily reflect extremism. What I think extremist challenge would be is if this position, which is maybe radical, really makes a real challenge to the democratic system itself. If it opposes the democratic system, if it's not part of democracy anymore, but wants to replace the democratic system by another type of regime, or if the means to do so are violent means, aggressive means. So that's, from my point of view, extremist challenge. If we have a position which is meant to replace democracy, and the means to do so are maybe violent or aggressive.
Thank you. Well, you were also mentioning the concept of the militant democracy. Could you maybe introduce this concept so we might better understand what it is?
Actually, it's perceived as a very German kind of model of how to protect a democratic structure. But actually, it's an idea that has a long history and has now spread throughout Europe from a legal point of view. Militant democracy is an idea, maybe a system of elements which are meant to protect a democratic system. And so it's about finding the right balance of how much freedom and what kind of freedom should be allowed in the democratic system and what freedom should not be allowed. And that was also the first question. Maybe an extremist view could be democratic, and we don't have to restrict this freedom, which is quite important in a democracy, not to restrict everything. But then there has to be a limit. And that is, that's maybe on a case-to-case basis. We can have a look at the jurisdiction of the European Court of Human Rights. They delivered some judgments on political parties, where they draw this limit. As I said, if the democratic system itself should be destructed, then this is the limit. Or if a political actor behaves in a militant or aggressive way or in a violent way, uses violence to change the system, this is clearly the limit. But sometimes it's not so easy to define this. Militant democracy is the idea to protect democracy, not to restrict freedom. But at some point, maybe a restriction is better than just let it go.
Yeah, so I guess there has to be this positive notion of protection. Which maybe discuss a specific case of Germany, perhaps, or how Germany protects the democracy.
Yes, as I said, it's perceived as a German model, but actually it's not really German. Of course, in Germany we had, after the Second World War, introduced a new constitution, and then we clearly introduced this type of system. We have to have some instruments to prevent democracy to be erased. we only had two political parties banned in the 1950s, and that was it. So there are a lot of other instruments to protect democracy, but I think it's not a German system at all. So.
Do you think they should be also used on the international level when it comes to European Union? Should there be a common framework when it comes to protection of democracy?
Yeah, I think so, because as we scale up democracy from the national level to a European level, and in particular, as democracy is one of the core values of the European Union, if you want, or of European states, if you want, then we should at the same time think about how to protect this value. And so there should be a common standard of how to do this. And we have some instruments delivered from the European Convention on Human Rights, actually, and at the same time we have some instruments on the level of the European Union itself. Article 7 of the Treaty of the European Union. But I think this is not a problem of having instruments, but of applying those instruments.
When we talk about this protection, do you think it's only the issue of the country, or could an individual maybe do something in order to protect the democracy? For example, we are talking now about the social networks where we can see how these extremists maybe are active. Can an individual do anything in order to do that?
Yeah, of course.
How?
I don't know. No. I mean, the main point is it's quite important to not only think about politics, political parties, and legal instruments, which many people do not know at all. The most important part is, of course, that the citizens themselves are convinced of a democratic system as the best system they want to live in. And so, again, I wish we had not only militant democracies, but militant Democrats, if you want. Not aggressive Democrats, but people taking a stand for democracy. And if they, I mean, social networks could be a tool to gather some people for democracy, but I think it's also an everyday routine or everyday practice. If you are confronted with maybe extremist views in your everyday environment, on the street maybe, then maybe you should take a stand for democracy and go there and say that's not okay, we're opposing that. So not just keep silent and everything will go.
Yeah, let's hope we'll have a lot of them. And I'm going to thank you for the interview and
thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Can you send it to me before you post it?
I think Jakub will be responsible for that, so you might want to talk to him. It will probably be on YouTube. I think definitely you can talk to him.
Thank you.